And we're back. Mike Cernovich, Cernovich.com. Talk about an arrest here. This is scary. This is some very, very scary stuff. Iraqi national wanted for murder in Iraq arrested in California. Had previously attempted to gain lawful permanent status. So Omar Amin, an Iraqi national who was wanted on a murder charge in Iraq, appeared before a federal magistrate judge. Amin settled in Sacramento as a purported refugee and attempted to gain legal refugee status in America. The Iraqi arrest warrant and extradition request allege that after the fall of Raqqa, Iraq, to ISIS, Amin entered the town with a caravan of ISIS vehicles and drove to the house of the victim, who worked for the police department. So this is, these are allegations, of course. These allegations, according to the Department of Justice, has made the arrest. According to the allegations, he murdered a police officer after Iraq had taken over the town. So this is it's a pretty big story. I haven't seen the media cover it yet. One thing that we've noticed is when there are, very high profile arrests happening, the media doesn't really seem to want to cover these stories. So this again is a Department of Justice indictment. Iraqi national wanted for the murder in Iraq. He was arrested in California, and the State Department had resettled him. So, literally alleged ISIS member in California, according to the indictment. And this is because of the United States State Department, which approved his application for settlement. So that's just, the way, this is all, all right here. But I haven't, interestingly enough, I haven't seen the mainstream media cover this yet. People said, how you doing? I'm saying, how you doing? So what are we looking at? We are looking at a press release from the United States Department of Justice. Iraqi national wanted for murder in Iraq was arrested in California. He had previously attempted to gain lawful permanent resident status. So Omar Amin, 45, an Iraqi national, was wanted a murder charge in Iraq. He settled in Sacramento as a purported refugee and attempted to gain legal status in the U.S. An arrest warrant charging Amin with the 2014 murder of an Iraqi police officer was issued May 6th by a judge of the Baghdad Federal Inquiry Court. In accordance with its treaty obligations with Iraq, the U.S. filed a complaint in Sacramento seeking a warrant for his arrest based on the extradition request. The Iraqi arrest warrant alleged that he entered the town with a bunch of ISIS people and, killed an Iraqi police officer. So according to the allegations, from, of course, the Department of Justice. So if this is true, that's ISIS, So this is our State Department, The State Department has all these programs, and he entered into, apparently with no background check or no anything, the State Department approved it. So this is some pretty serious stuff, going on here. And this is kind of what our State Department is up to. It's just really unbelievable. So the murder allegedly happened in 2014. The arrest happened today. So let's go ahead and Google him and see if the mainstream media has reported on him. Okay, so son of a gun, we have some local reporting. So there you go. The media, that's the great thing, is the media, and this is why they hate social media so much. The media knows that we're going to report on this stuff. So stories that they would want to cover up, usually they are now having trouble covering up because they know that we'll report on it. And that's, of course, why the media wants us banned from social media, because you can't really, they don't want to report on the truth. They want to report on whatever fits their agenda. So fortunately, the news media, the local news, is covering it. We'll see if this is, of course, on CNN or any kind of other outlet. This is very, very serious stuff here. And, you know, the real power of social media is that stories that they never would have covered, that they always would have refused to cover, you can't really ignore anymore. That's why they want Alex off. That's why they want everybody off the air. That way they can just not report on this stuff anymore. So this is our State Department. The U.S. State Department approved. The U.S. State Department approved of this. They're responsible for this. The State Department, and I don't know what to tell you, people. Our State Department is not a good. Our State Department is anti-American, to be quite honest. Our State Department does not care about American values and American interests here. So let's go ahead and read here. Suspected ISIS member arrested. FBI searches his apartment. KCRA. FBI agents searched a Sacramento apartment Wednesday where a suspected ISIS member was living and was wanted in connection with the killing of an Iraqi police officer, according to... So this is serious. I mean, this is, you know, this is serious stuff. I don't know. I was like, we live in this absurd world where, you know, Omarosa is the #1 trending story in the world, but that isn't like a real story. It isn't national consequence. This is a story of national consequence, namely that the State Department is not vetting people who come in. And we now, you know, we have ISIS members coming in because of the State Department. So this is, you know, it's a problem. And that's the problem generally that I have with media for, you know, many, many reasons. So the media, they don't focus on what matters. So if our State Department is not properly vetting people before they're allowed in the country, then that matters. That's terrorism. Things can happen. We have a freaking accused ISIS guy in our country. That's like a big problem, I would say. Omarosa, whatever she said is happening, that's just gossip, right? Oh, Trump this, Trump that, Omarosa, it's just gossip. It isn't a thing. It isn't a real story. It doesn't matter. Omarosa can be on the air just like Michael Evanetti, Stormy, whatever, those people, you know, whatever the names are. None of that matters. It is not of any kind of national import. This is our State Department. Our State Department not looking out for the interests of Americans, which is literally their job, and they're allowing people in the country who are connected to ISIS, allegedly. That's a real story. But look what, you know, you're not going to see this on the cryons and everything. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And that's why they want to shut me down. They don't want these stories to get out. They don't want people to know the truth. They just want to let in ISIS. They want to let in, you know, they don't want to do their jobs, the State Department. That's what it is. The State Department hates America. So I'm going to tweet at the State Department Spox here. I'm gonna tweet to the State Department and just ask her what they're, you know, what they are doing. You know, this is real journalism. This is real stuff here. This is real stuff here. So I'm going to email. So yeah, we just tweeted here at the State Department Spox, hey, you know, why is the State Department allowing alleged ISIS members into America? I mean, that seems... We live in such a dumb world. We live in the most moronic, stupid world maybe of all time. Where if you turn on TV, Omarosa this, Omarosa that, Stormy, Abinetti, who said gossip, 3 sources said Trump drinks 12 Diet Cokes a day and has 2 scoops of ice cream at dinner. Oh, big whoop. And then the State Department isn't actually doing its job, and you can't get questions answered. I mean, we live in the dumbest world. In a lot of ways, it's a very fun world, but we do live in the dumbest world of all time, or certainly the dumbest world of my lifetime, where actual big stories, real stories of consequence, stories that matter, get almost no coverage, and stories that don't matter, they don't have any consequence, they're just transient gossip, get saturation coverage. It's just the way it is, people. It's just the world that we live in. By the way, I'm going to have a little sip of wine. I haven't had any wine yet today, but I don't want to encourage or glamorize alcohol consumption. So if you have ever had a drinking problem or anything like that, I don't want to inadvertently tempt you or give you a craving. So if you've ever had a drinking problem or struggling with alcohol or any kind of addiction, I would ask that you turn away for about 30 seconds because I have a lovely drink, but I don't want to be a bad example for people. And if you're under 21, obviously you should not be drinking at all. But I don't want to, I don't want people to say, oh, that looks good, I want one. I don't, I used to, just be troll because I had a smaller, group of people. It was just friends. We just goofed off. And then I became like a movement leader in this world. And then I have to think of myself as a role model and a leader. But that said, I can drink alcohol responsibly. I can drink wine responsibly. So I'm not going to not drink because I'm a leader, but I don't want to tempt people and to glamorize and to make people who have that craving or longing to think about drinking that. So I'm going to have a couple sips here while we, because I have something kind of interesting to show you too. So who remembers last week? Sorry. Raise your hand if you remember last week. How many people remember a week ago? And how many people remember a week ago when we were told that you're not allowed to talk about old tweets? Who remembers that? Okay, well, I'm now reading the Washington Post, and according to the Washington Post, psych, actually, you can talk about old tweets. Said something you'd like to forget. CNN's Andrew Kaczynski won't let it go. By the way, I think Andrew does good journalism. I've told people, if you want to understand me, I'm a right-wing, he goes by K-Fall. I've told people I'm just a right-wing K-Fall. So Andrew very rarely reports on wrongdoing by the left or Democrats, although he did do a very well-developed story on Keith Ellison. So all kudos to him. But generally speaking, 9 out of 10 times he's swinging at right-wingers, conservatives, and other things. And that's fine. That's definitely his right. And he did that Keith Ellison story, so I'm not throwing shade at him at all. I'm just explaining the context. So me, 8 out of 10 times I write about left-wing people, Democrats, liberals, right? Hollywood people. But it's called trolling and harassment when I do it. Right? Remember just last week, Cernovich is a troll. He's an internet harasser. He's going after old tweets. So unfair. You're not supposed to go after old tweets. That's bad. We got to ban him. Got to ban him from the internet because, how dare he go after old tweets? And I'm blocking people that say I'm drunk. I haven't even had anything to drink yet. If you're wondering about my alcohol consumption habits, I generally read to my daughter 7:30 for bed. So today I've had a very rigorous workout. I did cardio, lifted hard, very productive. And then about the time, because I sip a little wine and then I read to my daughter, and then she falls asleep in my arms, which my wife doesn't like because she's like, you got to teach her to self-soothe herself to bed. And I'm like, babe, are you out of your mind? It's like the best part of my day. The best part of my day is reading Minnie Mouse books to my daughter. My daughter, she'll come out with, when she's ready, she comes with her blanket in one hand and the book in the other. That's when I know she is serious and ready for bed. So obviously I wouldn't be drunk before I put my daughter to bed, you idiots. But yeah, she comes out with the little white blanket and the book, and then she comes out and like, okay, she means business. It is book time, story time, and reading time. But yeah, so yeah, people are going, Cernovich gets people fired. What a bully. What a mean man. Cernovich is a mean person. You're getting people fired. That isn't very cool. That's not very cool. How dare you? How dare you report on old tweets? How dare you? That's not allowed. You're not allowed to report on old tweets. That's harassment. You're not allowed to report on old tweets. I mean, come on. You're just not supposed to, right? After spending 2 weeks saying old tweets are off limits, WAPO celebrates reporting on old tweets. I'm sorry, I laugh a lot. I enjoy myself, people. If you don't have a sense of humor, you will go insane like all these people in these airplane crashes and everything. So let's go ahead and read. Carl Higbie was a top Trump administrative appointee until CNN's Andrew Kaczynski showed up bearing audio tapes. Within a few days, amid regrets and apologies, Higbie was a former federal employee. Same with Jamie Johnson, Christine Bosserman, William Bradford, Todd Johnson, all resigned from Plum government posts shortly after Kaczynski and his team looked into them. Monica Crowley, Sheriff David Clark, Kathleen Harnett White, and Jeff Mentier never got that far. Their nominations were withdrawn after Kaczynski and Co. went to work on them. Okay, cool. So he gets people fired, but I thought it was bad to get people fired, right? I'm so confused. The Washington Post, you're confusing me, WAPO. I thought getting people fired was bad. I was just told that I get people fired and that's bad. And how dare I dig up pedophile jokes and, to catch a predator pictures. That's bad. You're not supposed to get people fired. But then the lead of the story is Carl Higbie got fired and a bunch of other people got fired. So I'm just so confused right now. I'm going to read your comments, my friends. If you're on Facebook, hit the like button. Share this video with people. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. And if you're on Periscope, tap the screen and share these streams. So I'm going to read your comments. So we were just told by the media that I'm a bad person because I get people fired. But now I'm reading an article which is saying Andrew Kaczynski is a good person because he gets people fired. So what is the difference here? I'm so perplexed. Allow me to have another sip. Not the best. I get this brand a lot. It actually tastes a little bit corked. It has a little vinegary has a little kind of vinegary aftertaste that might be slightly corked. It isn't old enough, I think, to be fully corked, but this is a bad bottle of wine, but it isn't so bad that it's undrinkable. It's a red Zinfandel. It's my drink of choice. If we're ever out and about and I happen to be drinking, you can always buy a table, as my good friend Jane Ruby, who is in the chat, will tell you. You can always bring over a bottle of red Zinfandel and congregate with us and break it on open, and we will drink a little red Zinfandel together. That is my drink of choice. And if you are a whiskey type, I like Yamazaki 18 or Hibiki 18. These are Japanese whiskeys. They are quite smooth, like velvet. Once you drink Japanese whiskeys, you will not be able to go back to Scotch. You won't be able to go back to, let alone Johnny Walker, which is just branding. Once you drink Japanese whiskey, it is over for you because the Japanese make the best whiskey in the world. And I hope that isn't racist. I didn't mean that in a racial way. So I'm not trying to be a racist person. But the Japanese do make the greatest whiskey in the world. But anyway, I mean, we were just told getting people fired is bad. But now we're told getting people fired is good. Kaczynski's 4-member group, known as K-File, after its 28-year-old founder, may be the foremost practitioner of the journalist equivalent of dumpster diving. Their repertorial and more simple, if tedious. They dig through social media posts. Well, I mean, isn't that what I do? So again, I'm so confused. They dig through social media posts, old audio and video recordings, and forgotten speeches, articles and books to find troubling comments. So wait a minute. We're bad though. We were just told. I mean, here, let's go ahead and right. Let's just go ahead and compare. the treatment, right? So they're saying, that, well, he's just digging through the old tweets. It's a good thing. It's real journalism, man. That's hardcore. It's hardcore digging through the old tweets. Real journalism, getting people fired. Good stuff, But Cernovich, when he does the exact, I learned it from K-File. That's the whole point. I always love how these journalists, and some of them are like not the haters. I mean, like the actual journalists. I'm not talking about like the fake people, the Daily Beast people and stuff like that. I mean, like, I'm talking about like actual journalists. And the question is, well, if you say you're not supposed to go through old tweets and you're not supposed to get people fired, then that's got to apply equally, but it's not. So journalists will like interview me and, I'm like, guys, I just copied K-File. Like literally that's all I did. Because they treat me like I'm a zoo animal, like I'm a baboon. Ooh, 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 ah, ah. What is a baboon? What is a baboon? What kind of noises do? I don't know how baboon makes, but they treat me, and I'm talking about the real journalists, not the fake people, And I'm like, why is this complicated? I go, all I did was do what K-File did. K-File, this is how he made his bones. He goes through your tweets, finds you, using inappropriate language and turns it to a story. So I'm like, I'm just a right-wing K-File, right? It isn't, but they're like, well, so what's your approach? What's going on in your mind when you're doing, why don't you ask K-File this? Why don't you ask K-File, hey, K-File, like, why do you do this? Right? And moreover, when I do like the James Gunn stuff, the journalists will attack me in the story, but they don't attack K-File in the story, right? So if K-File finds their old tweets, the story is, here are a bunch of old tweets. This is bad, 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 bad. The end. When Cernovich finds tweets, they go, Cernovich found tweets, they're bad, but you know what? Cernovich is a bad person and he's tweeted bad stuff too. Therefore, it's fine. Just old jokes, lighten up. Now, me, from a branding perspective, I'm glad that the media attacks me in that manner, right? That's the irony of this. The irony of this is when the media attacks me in their story to defend people like James Gunn, they've like literally played into my hands, right? Like you've done what I wanted you to do. Like you're attacking me to defend the indefensible. And I want to discredit the media, and that discredits the media by having them defend. So I'm glad they do it rather than just play a clean game. So every article about James Gunn's tweets brings up me and why I'm a bad person. But when K-File finds your tweets, they don't talk about K-File, and K-File's made some mistakes. That said, I don't criticize him anymore just because a lot of people went after him in a very nasty way. Fun trivia, K-File is one of only 3 people I've ever apologized to. Because when things, he went after a Reddit guy, which I don't think was very cool. And then things were getting heated for him, and I did a video where I was like kind of like laughing at him. But I looked into it, and things got way more heated for him than it should have. And I just thought that was being a bad human being. He deserved a little bit of like, hey, you're a bad person, or hey, this wasn't cool kind of thing. But you don't call make threats. You don't call the guy's parent. That's psychotic, right? So I hadn't realized he was going through all that. So I actually apologized on Twitter publicly. I said I would like to apologize to K-File, even though it wasn't my fault, just as like a human being. It was like, because I did a crappy thing, which was laugh about it. You shouldn't laugh at somebody's misfortune. And at the time, I was ignorant of it, but it was wrong. So I don't criticize the guy. He has definitely made some mistakes, but I don't talk about those mistakes he's made anymore because I don't want people digging into it. It's like, leave the guy alone, man. Leave the guy alone is how I view it. So I don't criticize him anymore. Just because, things got a little bit too crazy. So in Higbee's case, K-File came up with a trove of internet radio programs hosted by the former Navy SEAL and conservative media personality. The recordings captured Higbee disparaging all kinds of, he talked like a Navy SEAL, locker room talk, really. So there are a number of layers to this article, right? There are a number of layers to this article. Layer one is absolutely BS that the media attacks me while praising K-File in the next breath. You can't do it. Either going through tweets is wrong or it isn't. Oh, God, my daughter she's obsessed with me, basically. Dad, come here. Come give a hug. Oh, what's up? Come here. Dad.
She was pounding on the door.
Oh, my gosh, I missed you too, kiddo. Oh, shh. That's okay. It's okay. No, we can't let you read this, baby. We got to put you to bed, okay? No, I'll come read to you. I'm going to be done in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay? Dush.
Come here, baby. We gotta go.
5 minutes. I know. Okay. All right, my friends, I got to go read to my daughter. She's ready. She's ready for bed. But anyway, we don't have her on camera anymore because we're being stalked by people who edit videos of her, which is another sort of conversation. Is she used to sit with me and play, and goof off with me and stuff. And then psychotic stalkers with verified Twitter profiles started editing audio of her to say things that doesn't edit. And if you think the media cares at all about that and is going to report on that, well, it's a joke. So we're gonna sign off. Yeah, people were talking about, all kinds of things, all kinds of harassment and other stuff that people want to do, and it involves my daughter and yada, yada, and legally we're taking care of that. But that goes into, here, I'm going to read to her. I'm just going to finish for a couple minutes and I'll read to her. Or does your mom want to put her to bed?
I want to put her to bed.
You want to put yourself?
I don't want her.
Okay, we'll do the switcheroo outside. Here. Hey. Okay, you ready? Go see mom. Dad, oh, no. Okay. No, you don't want to leave Dad. Okay. Sorry, Mama. Sorry, Mama. Dada's favorite. By the way, like, I'm totally her favorite. Sean, I'm totally Sarah's favorite. Just not that it matters, not that anybody, not that it should matter, but
The lighting's dark and hate.
but I'm definitely definitely Sarah's favorite. Definitely your favorite. All right, babe, can I put you down here? No, not a chance. Okay, Dad. So I need the iPad to do some work stuff. Can I give you my phone? I know, Mama. We're winding her up, and I know that's not. I know that's.
Listen, Baba's here.
Do you want to see Baba?
Baba's here.
Here. Okay. Okay, you wanna grab her? Dush.
Whoa, you are
Yeah, Syra, she's definitely got a preference.
Okay, say goodnight. Bye.
She's definitely got a preference, and preferences to good old Dad. and that's too, like, another reason, like, the media. Oh no, she wants Dad. She's obsessed with me. She's saying Dad. She's obsessed with me. I love her. Of course I do. That's the whole thing. That's why they made a bad mistake. Is it's one thing to troll me. It's one thing to make up lies about me. They went after my daughter, and that's just a different level of whatever. Things are coming. I'll just put it to you that way. Things are not going to go well at all for certain people, and they have absolutely no idea. And that's actually the way I want to keep it. We'll just leave it like that. Things are happening that are not going to be very nice for a lot of people, and that's all I'm gonna say about that for now. But yeah, it's great, dude. I love being a dad. I'm glad I waited. I am definitely glad that I'm waited to be a dad. That is for sure. Because I had all my fun. So, a lot of parents like, oh, we can't do this. It's like, dude, I don't want to leave the house. People are always like, why aren't you in DC? It's like, I don't want to leave my kid, like, all this stuff happening. Like, yeah, I don't want to go to the White House press briefing room and be away from my daughter, right? For what? Right? So it's different. But when I was younger, I was like travel and, party. And so my advice definitely, for men especially, I can't give advice to women. My advice especially for Men is that have your fun, have a lot of fun. Be careful. Don't get yourself caught up. Don't get caught up in the game, but have your fun, have a lot of fun. And then when you have your children, you just love being a dad. So for me, it's like, I love it. I'm not regretting. I'm not like, oh, I'm not going to be like 50 and have a midlife crisis. Be like, oh my gosh, I see all these hot chicks on the beach with bikinis and that could have been me. It's like, no, that was me. Like I was the guy with the hot chicks on the beach and the bikinis, the Vegas pool parties. Like that was me. So that's definitely my advice always to young men is like, just get in really good shape, lift a lot of weights, have a lot of fun. And then when you have a kid, you'll be the best dad ever because you won't resent your kids. You won't think your kids are keeping you away from doing what you want to do. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. If people could say, would you turn back time and not be a dad so that I could go to Ibiza and take a pill to show Avicii I was cool. Avicii's actually dead. So that shows you a lot of problems with the party lifestyle. But like, dude, are you kidding me? I remember, like, I did that life. Dramatic people, drug heads, people steal from you. If you leave, you leave stuff out, people grab it. It's like, I don't want to deal with the party people anymore. So that's my advice to men. Get in really good shape. Learn how to sell. Learn how to be a salesman. If you're, this is good advice for women too. Learn how to be a saleswoman. If you can sell, you can do anything. And then when you have a child, you'll be the best dad ever because you won't blame your kids for like taking anything. You'll be like, dude, my kids are amazing. This is like a completely different change of life. So for me, it's just, dude, I don't even want to like leave the house. Speaking of which, speaking of sales, did you like that? Did you like that segue? Did you like that segue? I went over a year without caffeine, and if you go to gorillamindset.com, you can read all about it. gorillamindset.com, but there is a big sale right now, 50% off. This is what I take. The sale ends in a few hours. Gorilla Mind Smooth is the product. GORILLAMIND.com. GorillaMind.com. My book is Gorilla Mindset. And the supplements are GorillaMind.com. There's a 50% off sale basically for the Gorilla Mind Smooth, which is what I take and is what I love. So Gorilla Mind Smooth is fantastic because it is not, there's no jitters, it's just focus. It even has a couple of compounds in there, a hordenine and phenylalanine, which boost mood and have a fantastic effect. So anyway, go to gorillamindset.com. You can read all about it. And the products are at gorillamindset.com. It's 50% off sale. I think it ends tonight, actually. I think it ends in like 3 hours. I think it's midnight Eastern time, 9 Pacific. I'm not sure. But anyway, the sale is over in a few hours. So you can pick it up. 50% off. gorillamindset.com. Check it out or don't check it out. All right. Thanks for watching. Mike Cernovich. Going to go read to my daughter because I hear her saying, Dad, 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 Dad. So mom wants to put her to bed because mom gets a little jealous about the old dad. People just love me. It really is like a blessing and a curse. Like people love me. I think it's because people can say I have a lot of love to give and I love people back. I love you guys back. You guys are, you guys keep me around. There's a lot of people trying to kill me and you guys keep me around. So I love you guys. And I think people can sense that and that's why the media attacks on me. They don't do all that well and that's why they fail. Because you're like, dude, Cernovich is like the most lovable guy out there. Thanks for watching. Mike Cernovich, Cernovich.com. You can also go to GorillaMind.com, pick up some Smooth, 50% off, sale ends tonight. Or if you want to just read more about mindset, positivity, GorillaMindset.com. By the way, sales tip, if you ever go into sales, what I did is I just gave you too much information. So if you ever want to make a sale and be a good salesman or saleswoman in life, you want to give person a one call to action. You want to say, go do this one thing, go to this one website, or go buy this one product, or go do this one thing. If you give people 3 things, they'll do 0. If you give them 1 thing, they'll do 1. It's like just it's called the paradox of choice. So when you give people too many choices, they're like, oh, do I go to the Gorilla Mind store and pick up Smooth while it's on sale? Or do I go read the articles that Gorilla Mind said? Or do I go read the Cernovich stuff? Or, and then you have too many choices, like paradox of choice. Too many choices and you make no choice. But if you're only given one really good choice, then you take that choice. So, but whatever, dude. I just enjoy talking and have a lot of fun. So I will talk to you soon. Mike Cernovich, GorillaMindset.com.